On Christmas Eve, 1945, a devastating fire destroyed the Sodder family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. George and Jennie Sodder, Italian immigrants, lived there with 9 of their 10 children. That night, tragedy struck, but what happened next has baffled investigators, fueled conspiracy theories, and left the Sodder family searching for answers for the rest of their lives. Late on December 24th, the family celebrated together. Around midnight, Jennie was woken by a ringing phone. A woman she didn't know asked for someone who didn't live there, laughed strangely, and hung up. Shortly afterward, Jennie noticed the lights were still on and the front door unlocked, unusual for the family. She returned to bed. Within minutes, Jennie heard a loud noise on the roof followed by a fire breaking out near George's office. She, George, and 4 of the children escaped. But 5 of their children, Maurice, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 9, Jennie, 8, and Betty, 5, were trapped upstairs. George tried desperately to save them. He attempted to reach his coal trucks to climb up and rescue the children, but both trucks, which had worked fine earlier that day, mysteriously wouldn't start. The family's phone line was also dead, preventing them from calling for help. A neighbor eventually called the fire department, but because many firefighters were away for the holiday, the fire crew didn't arrive until hours later, when the house had already burned to the ground. Investigators concluded the 5 children had perished in the fire, their bodies reduced to ash. However, when the ashes were searched, no bones or remains were found, something that puzzled experts, since even in intense house fires, bones are usually left behind. Jennie Sodder, desperate for answers, conducted her own research. She learned that animal bones exposed to even hotter fires were never completely destroyed. She became convinced her children had not died in the blaze. Many odd details deepened the mystery. The cut phone line. Investigators discovered the phone line had been deliberately cut. Disabled trucks. George's coal trucks had been tampered with, preventing him from using them for a rescue. Strange man on the road. A neighbor reported seeing someone stealing a block and tackle, a tool used for car repairs, from the Sodder property around the time of the fire. The loud thump. Jennie recalled hearing something hit the roof before the fire. Later, her children found a strange rubber object in the yard, possibly a type of grenade. Unreliable fire investigation. The fire chief declared the cause was faulty wiring, but George had recently had the house rewired and it had passed inspection. In the months and years that followed, alleged sightings of the missing Sodder children surfaced. A woman claimed she had seen the children watching the fire from a passing car. Another reported seeing them at a rest stop between Fayetteville and Charleston. A motel operator in Charleston remembered the children checking in with several adults the morning after the fire. The Sodders hired private investigators, who turned up additional leads. One investigator reported that the children might have been taken as part of a human trafficking operation. Another theory suggested they were kidnapped in retaliation for George's outspoken criticism of Mussolini and the Italian fascist government. In 1949, the family persuaded authorities to dig up the site. During the excavation, they found small bone fragments, later tested and revealed to belong to someone much older than the Sodder children, with no fire damage. The bones appeared to have been planted. The Sodders refused to give up hope. In the early 1950s, they erected a massive billboard on Route 16 near their home, displaying photos of the missing children and offering a reward for information. The billboard became a landmark and kept the case in the public eye for decades. One of the most startling developments came in 1967, when Jennie received an envelope postmarked from Kentucky. Inside was a photograph of a young man in his 20s, with a note on the back reading, "Louis Sodder. I love brother Frankie. Ill boys." A 90132 or 35. The man resembled Louis, one of the missing children. The Sodders believed it was him, though the note's cryptic message was never deciphered. They hired another investigator to follow up, but he vanished and was never heard from again. George and Jennie spent the rest of their lives pursuing the truth.